The stranger in the kitchen. When I was about 8 years old, something happened that still gives me chills to this day. My parents had me later in life, so my two older siblings were at least 10 years older than me. One night, long after midnight, I was woken by a loud commotion downstairs. I cracked my bedroom door open and heard my mom and dad panicking about something. I didn't know what was going on. I stood at the top of the stairs and called out, "Mom? Dad?" My mom rushed to the bottom of the staircase and told me firmly, "Go back to bed." I could tell something was wrong, but I listened. I went back to my room and tried to fall asleep. Moments later, I heard the front door slam shut, followed by dead silence. I assumed my parents had left the house, though I wasn't sure why. Some time passed, and then I woke up again. This time, I heard the front door quietly close, followed by footsteps. No talking, just steps and soft thuds downstairs. I assumed my parents had returned and were just trying not to wake me. I could hear drawers opening and closing, even the fridge door creaking open. In my 8-year-old mind, I explained it all away. It had to be my older brother, Alex. He was a teenager then, driving already, and it wasn't unusual for him to come home at 2 a.m. and raid the fridge. Then I heard footsteps slowly coming up the stairs, louder and louder, until they stopped right outside my door. My door slowly creaked open. I lay still in bed, eyes wide open, staring at the dark silhouette in my doorway. I whispered names, "Alex? Mom? Dad?" But no one answered. I finally asked, "Who's there?" The figure didn't say a word. It just closed my door again and walked away. I thought maybe it was my dad checking on me, but something felt off. A few minutes later, my curiosity got the better of me. I crept downstairs, leaving the lights off. When I reached the kitchen doorway, I froze. Standing there, in the middle of the kitchen, was a tall figure. "Dad!" I asked softly. A deep, unfamiliar voice replied, "Go back upstairs." My heart stopped. I bolted up the stairs, shut my door, and dug under the covers, trembling. The voice didn't sound like my dad at all. But at the time, my innocent mind didn't even consider the possibility of a stranger being in our house. Then, minutes later, the front door opened again, this time with noise and shouting. I heard my parents' voices. I ran to the top of the stairs and saw them, shocked to find me awake. They told me that my brother Alex had been in a car accident. They had rushed to the hospital, leaving me asleep at home. I asked my dad if he had come into my room earlier. That's when I learned they had been gone for hours. My mom turned pale. She started yelling at my dad because, in their rush, he'd forgotten to lock the front door. When I told him about the person in my doorway and in the kitchen, my dad grabbed his gun and searched the house while my mom called the police. The last thing I remember was giving my story to an officer, wrapped in a blanket, while my parent apologized over and over for leaving me alone. Nothing of value was stolen. Whoever that person was, they didn't harm me. They just walked through our home in the dark. But having a complete stranger inside your house is terrifying enough. Now imagine being only 8 years old when it happens.